Now, I've got a very good book at home at the moment, which I've been reading for a little while, called The One Thing. And it's all about focusing on doing one thing really well and not really moving on to anything else until you've completed that particular thing that you're doing or the thing that you're aiming towards achieving. And we can apply that to strength. So there's a pyramid that we utilize when we're teaching people about strength goals and reps and sets. And it basically breaks up strength goals into 3 distinct phases. So the bottom phase is muscular endurance. So muscular endurance is about being able to carry out repeated contractions against a resistance. Now, when you've got somebody come to you for the first time, we tend to put everybody on this. We tend to work on everybody's muscular endurance to begin with because it increases ligament strength and tissue integrity, their tendon strength. It builds a bit of aerobic fitness as well. And it's a good introduction to strength training. So we work on muscular endurance first. Now, that book, The One Thing, which focuses on working at one thing at a time, this fits in very nicely with a periodization model called block periodization, which is the original periodization model, where you just focus on one thing, get good at it, do it really well, then move on to something else. So we're going to focus on muscular endurance. Once you've done that for a while and you feel like you've made some good gains from that, then you can start to focus on another area, which is something we call hypertrophy. So hypertrophy actually means an increase in muscle size. And although some people watching this at home might be thinking, well, I don't want to get big and bulky, I don't want to look like Arnie. Well, actually, if you want to tone up and drop some body fat, this is a really good phase to work in. Now, you're not going to suddenly wake up one morning and go, Christ, what's happened to me? I'm huge, look at my big muscles. It doesn't work like that. I wish it did, but it doesn't. But if you want to focus on building some nice lean muscles and sculpting good physique, it's important to spend some time in this phase. So we get the muscular endurance stuff under our belt and then we can move on to hypertrophy and just focus on that. How do these two differ? Well, for a start, this is generally high repetitions. So anything from sort of 13 repetitions plus is this. We have shorter rest periods, so we're looking at sort of 30 seconds rest in between. And we utilize training systems like circuit training. Circuit training is great for muscular endurance. So that's your muscular endurance. When we move on to hypertrophy, we increase the weight, we drop the reps slightly. So our rep range for that one's going to be 6 to 12 reps. Our rest periods are going to go longer. So for the big muscle groups, like if you're doing pushing movements, pulling movements, squats, deadlifts, you're looking at about 90 seconds rest. And you're going to utilize training systems like agonist and antagonist supersets, trisets, giant sets, drop sets, anything that's going to help to boost the volume of that training session. So hypertrophy is all about, well, volume training really. Now, when you've done that for a period of time, you might think, right, well, I've got some muscle, but I really want to train my nervous system now to be able to recruit more muscle fibers so I can be even stronger. And this is where we move on to a phase called strength training. We tend to use this word strength training interchangeably, because strength training, resistance training, lifting, but specifically strength training is low reps, heavy load, picking up heavy stuff. Now the rep range for this is 1 to 5. Our rest periods, absolute minimum, are going to be 2 minutes because we don't want our muscles to fatigue with this one. We want our nervous system to fatigue. So we're trying to get our brain to recruit more muscle fibers with strength training. So training systems for this one is going to be things like the 5x5 or the Wendler 5-3-1. So it's training that body to be able to lift heavier and heavier loads. Now, you could tackle all of these in 1 week or in 1 month, and there's periodization models that will allow you to do that. My personal preference, hence why I bought that book, The One Thing, because that's the way my brain works, partly because I'm a man and I can't multitask. I like to just do one thing, focus on that, get good at it, complete it, move on to the next thing. And this works really well with my mentality. So you focus on muscle endurance, get good at that, move on to hypertrophy, build some muscle, get good at that, and then go, right, let's build some good old-fashioned strength. When you're there, you then got some other options which I can talk about in another video.